PCS Laundry Live, episode number 11, broadcasting from Lexington Avenue in White Plains, New York. Planet Common Sense, PCS Laundry Live. Welcome to the latest edition. We got shit weather again, of course. It's actually not cold, so I'm not complaining about that. It's tolerable. But naturally, it's going to rain. It's raining already. It just started 5 minutes ago. Naturally, again, it rains almost every Friday because it's laundry night, and I got to walk a half a mile home with the laundry bag over my shoulder. So it's just a part of being Clint. So we're gonna not quack about it too much. But it's warmer, so I'm good. It's not like last week. Under some cover right now. I'm under some really bad scaffolding, but it's better than being out. If it stops raining, we'll get out and walk a little. Same deal as last week. We got a little wind, so let me know how that goes. That's a pain in the ass too. I'm working on some ideas to maybe take this somewhat out of the streets, but nothing I want to talk about yet. Do a quick scroll and say hello to see who everybody's here. Candy Lumber, Kira Weber Hopwood, Mike Petty, all my regulars, Mona Eves. We got Betsy, Bali Abel, we got Sharon Mondery. I tried something new tonight, and it's messing me up already. A little technological change in the program. I'm holding the phone with my right hand this week instead of my left hand to see if I can scroll better. And it's already annoying me like a minute into the show. So I'm screwed for the next hour. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. So what are we going to talk about tonight? There's a million things out there, just like there always is, and most of them are stupid, just like they always are. But it's just so funny because, like, I don't know whether to plan for this or just wing it, and it seems like it works better when I just wing it. But again, still the newness of it, it makes you, you know, I don't have anything to base it on how, like, this works, this doesn't work. Like, something different works every week. And I've been surviving it. Like, we haven't sucked yet, as far as I know. Nobody's telling me we sucked, except me. I kind of thought we sucked last week, but it ended up not being too bad. But I was thinking about, you know, as the week goes on, it's so weird doing it once a week because as the week goes on, things change and things pop up, and usually you get that hit on Friday, which you kind of did today. And I was looking at the Devin Nunes criminal referrals and getting anybody's take on who is going to win that particular lottery and get called out. So that's something we can delve into if you want to do that. And of course, we did have that little interesting twist of news today with the tweet from your president about bringing our new visitors from south of the border to sanctuary cities, which I think is a fucking delightful idea. It's just brilliant. And there's so many different ways to look at that. So we want to hit on that. We can certainly do that. We're across the street from the federal courthouse, which just always warms my heart. We're down the street from a hospital because you never know what's going to happen. So that's not a bad thing either. But everybody check in and toss out what you want to do and what you want to talk about. And we'll get right to everything. I'm jiggling around. Just bear with me. I'm going to make everybody seasick here. Mike Petty, I hope it's Devin. Wait a minute, though. Devin Nunes is the one who's bringing this stuff. So how's it going to be him? You got a beef with him that I should know about? Let me know. I don't know, man. You know, he did say something today or yesterday that kind of rubbed me funny, which is not always a bad thing, but this particular funny rub. He said something about you may never know, the public may never know who the names are on the list of the criminal referrals. Man, no. That's not going to work at all, Mr. Nunes. And if that's the situation, I think you need to get off the case and get somebody on who's going to do this for real, because we're past that. We're never going to know. We need to know. We have to know. We're going to know. So keep that in mind, Mr. Nunes. We also thought Donald Trump was going to watch tonight. He was sitting in front of the TV waiting for the snacks to come from the kitchen. So if you're listening, Mr. President, you're doing a great job. And let Nunez know that we may never know thing, that's not going to work at all. So. Sorry about that. So who else is here? Aurora Tracy Bissig. Hello from Hill Country in Texas. 81 degrees here. That's it. Pile on. Marie Russo is here. Carolyn Garrison. Don't know if I've seen your name before, but if I haven't, welcome. And if I have, I'm sorry. I didn't recognize it. Mark Hutchins is here. Great day. We had a great day today, didn't we? There was some cool stuff happened today. Fridays pan out that way sometimes. And I had like one of the worst days ever earlier in the week. Like, I was just mad at the world, like almost from the minute I got up. And then like you come back and you have a good day. It's just so funny. But Fridays usually check out. Fridays usually come cool. Something happens. And I get to hang out with you guys. So Friday, bring on the weekend. Who else we got? Emma Chiara Jaggi. I hope I'm saying your last name. I love your name, by the way. Just want to let you know that. Sanctuary cities illegals. Isn't that amnesty? Won't they be eligible for all the benefits since they will be living here? You know, who knows how that's going to work out. It's an interesting thing. It's new. It's obviously something they're kicking around and just starting to talk about. So I don't know. Who knows? And that's a good thing. But there's other cool things about it too. And like I touched on, earlier today about how delicious is it going to be if they do this, right? They just take busloads and train loads and cattle cars and everything full from the border and take them right out to San Francisco. You can dump them right on Nancy Pelosi's front lawn. You can set up some tents, and I'm sure Nancy, because she loves her undocumented. What do they call them now anyway? I know they don't say illegal because it's not a word that they use for them. She loves them. Okay, so I'm sure she's gonna bake cookies and make some freaking lemonade, and just she's gonna love having them there because that's exactly what she wants. She wants them here. So Nancy will take care of them. So just dump them all there. And the beautiful thing about it is get them all to vote. Let them all vote. Every one of them. 20 million of them. Let them vote. And then the day after Election Day, when they announce the winner and they say, Democrat X won the popular vote by 23 million votes. Except we don't go by the popular vote. We go by the electoral vote, which is still 55 in California. So on goal, you're still lost and Trump's still your president. So I'm loving to see that. If that comes down, that would just, and this, you can look at this thing a million different ways. Is it going to happen? I don't know, man. That's like, it's almost like he's joking, but it's a joke that's like, yeah, man, like, that's not a horrible idea. And it's a ball-breaking idea, which you just got to love that. So, I don't know, man. Like, kick it in. Throw your thoughts out and let me know what you think about all that. Brenda Kelly is here. Hello. Terry Golden Share. I don't recall seeing you pop in here before. Terry's an old friend from, like, real life, like before the internet, from a long, long time ago. And, that's actually inaccurate because I don't know if I've ever asked Terry, have we ever actually like been in the same room together? I don't know if we have or not, but I know you for a long time, and it's cool to see you in here. It's awesome to see you. Thanks for popping in. Go on Jump Corps Planet and tell everybody about this and about Planet Common Sense. They'll love it. They loved me over there, my lifetime band, but that's a whole nother world. But Terry, good to see you here. Thanks for checking in. We got Suret Spar. Oklahoma City is oh so pretty. That almost rhymed. Very good. Jerry Incy Grauman, rainy night in Jordan. Like Jordan, where is Jordan? I'm assuming that's not like Middle East Jordan. Although that would probably be a new record for farthest distance away. Someone has traveled through cyberspace to be here with us. Although, Australia's got you beat. Australia's like on another planet. So, that might... All right, anyway, cool you jumping in. It's good to see you. We got... Thanks for the compliment on my name. I mean, it's just, I like your name. I'm funny like that. Like, I'll see somebody's name. It's not the first time either. Like, that's just like the coolest name. But who's... I don't know if she's been in here, but Anastasia Beaverhausen. That was like 3 years ago. She started like kicking around and following me before Planet Common Sense from Chicks on the Right. I was like, that's just the coolest name in the world. Is that your real name? And she told me it was from Seinfeld. You know, I don't watch TV, so I didn't know that. But like, yeah, that's cool. But Emma, glad you're here. Mike Petty, what do you got? You think the AG is getting Julian back? Oh, man. You think the AG is getting Julian back to the U.S. to testify? Holy smokes. And I forgot about that in the intro, because that's probably the biggest thing that went down this week. And you know what? I'm a victim of the media manipulation to some extent, because they didn't talk about it. Like, that should have been the biggest story in the universe this week. That if anybody thought that Julian Assange was going to come and spill on Trump, you would have read nothing else on your news feeds this week except about Julian Assange. But obviously it goes the other way, so it goes the other way, and you don't hear a thing. So they didn't talk about that. You notice, look how proportionately that is just out of whack. That should have been the biggest thing anybody was talking about. You hardly heard a word about it after it happened. But yeah, that's a big one. That's something we certainly should knock around a little bit. You know, I don't know what I think on it yet. I've gone through a whole spectrum on how I feel about Julian Assange, and a lot of it is I guess gratuitous. I didn't like him at first, and here's the whole thing about that. When you have a guy like that, and you have an entity like WikiLeaks, where they can manipulate society, they can drop shit that's going to wreck people, and that's going to wreck countries. And the first you got from Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, the first big thing you got was the wire drop, where they just dropped all those government wires on the U.S. and made us look kind of bad. And, you know, in retrospect, it didn't make us look as bad as I thought, because it was really all the grime bags that were doing all the stuff that made us look bad. But it still made you look bad as a country. Now you know more about, you know, all those people and what they were doing and who they were talking to and the reasons why they were doing some of the things they were doing. And it's not so bad. But here's the thing. When you have a loose cannon like that, and like Q, and I'm not going to get into Q, man. I know a lot of you like Q and follow it. I'm not Anonymous is another one. Like, you get into these things where, yes, they can influence, and yes, they can do wonderful, wonderful things, and they have done wonderful things. And that's all well and good until they break something that you're not happy about and wreck somebody who you support. And just having loose cannons out there like that rubs me the wrong way. Now, that being said, what Julian Assange did during 2016, which has essentially saved us from having Hillary Clinton as a president, which, I mean, you couldn't possibly thank the man enough. And for everything else he may have done that I wasn't crazy about, I can forgive all that just on that. Okay, I'll forgive a lot to somebody who keeps Hillary Clinton out of the Oval Office. But I'm you know, I'm not going to be straight up and say I'm a huge fan of Julian Assange. Like, and I'll give you another thing about him too, and another up thing for him. The guy is the most honest, most pure, most reliable source of news that America has ever had. And again, like, I'm not saying I don't like him, but I have not liked him. You may like him, you may not like him. It's grimy. Some of the things he did, borderline grimy. But I don't know. You know, what do you do with a guy like that? Do you trust him? Do you not trust him? He drops a bomb that you don't like. All of a sudden, it's a flip-flop on it. Now, I don't think they're going to hammer him with the charges. Honestly, I think they're bringing him here for other reasons. The charges they have against him now are almost nothing. It's just silly stuff now. He had the statutory rape charge in Sweden, which was the big thing at first. And the reason he holed up in that shithole Ecuadorian embassy was over that. Okay, but those charges have been dropped, so that's not over now. I think they got him on some warrants and a few clerical things, and I just don't think they got anything they could bring him home for. And I don't imagine that, like, it doesn't seem to me, and Jim, if you're here, Jim Thomas, unofficial legal counsel for Planet Common Sense and PCS Laundry Live, if you're out there, just check me if you know on the legality of this. I don't think I don't believe that Julian Assange and what he did as far as releasing all the documents in 2016 was illegal. I think the borderline, and again, please, anybody knows, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the cutoff line there was right between him and Bradley Manning, Chelsea, whatever you want to call it. That was clearly illegal. That's a whole different story. And he should certainly still be in jail. And he should certainly not have a taxpayer-funded vagina that he got in jail or after jail. He should be rotting in a prison. Because he stole under an oath that you swear when you go into the military. I mean, he stole top secret classified information. I mean, that's straight, there's clear cut, straight up treason, I guess is the right word for it. But taking that stuff and publishing it, that's journalism. Okay, now maybe I'm stretching the boundaries and stretching the definitions a little bit, but everything I said about Julian Assange earlier set aside, just straight up on that, I have no gripe with what he did as far as that. And honestly, if I'm going to be objective and pure, I really can't gripe about him releasing the wires years ago either. I don't like it, but I don't see him going, it's just, he's being a journalist. That's what journalists do. You find information, you have sources, you get your sources, and you take the stuff from them and you put it out there. That's journalism. That's not necessarily illegal. And if they're bringing him in on charges over that, that's a problem. I'm delighted that they bagged Bradley Manning, because that was straight up theft. That was straight up illegal. It was straight up crime. Taking that stuff and publishing it is a different story. One other thing about Julian Assange before we move on, and we'll come back to it if the scroll warrants it. I would definitely like to know what he can tell us about Seth Rich, because maybe that's not, in and of itself, as important as some of the other things that he can share with us. But I'd like to know, and I think it'll tie in, because, man, that kid was assassinated. There's no question about it. It's just, I could almost envision, literally, Donna Brazile driving the getaway car for John Podesta and Debbie Worcestershire sauce when they did the whack that night. It's such bullshit that they're trying to say that was a crime. And it was, they didn't steal anything from him. And it was just random in the middle of a street, in the middle of nowhere. Wasn't anywhere. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't add up. They cut it off. They stopped talking about it. The parents stopped talking about it. That's not cool. And you know what? The one guy who's going to know something about that, because I believe he was a source that was going to Assange and going to WikiLeaks with this stuff. And that's why he was killed. So if anybody's going to know about what happened with Seth Rich, it's going to be Julian Assange. So you know what? There's a lot of things. I think it's important that they bring Julian Assange to the United States. And I think that's important that they sit him down for a long time and debrief him, for lack of a better word. If you want to put it that way, when you want to say interrogate, you want to say question, apply whatever word feels comfortable for you. This guy knows a lot of things that we need to know. And we should know. And you're opening a Pandora's box with this. You got to sit him down, though. You got to sit down and hear what this guy has to say. As far as pardoning him, I think that's in the cards. I think that's something that's well, you might not even need to pardon him, because nothing might happen to him. Who knows what's going to happen? But that's something we should keep an eye on as we go. And again, we'll jump back into that a little more as we go along. So I'm going to scroll. Chris Zamora. I recognize the name from Planet Common Sense, not from PCS Laundry Live. So thank you for coming in tonight. Welcome. Got a quick list of the sanctuary cities to avoid. Ha ha ha. I'm standing in one, for one thing. It's pretty, I don't know if there's an official list of sanctuary cities. You got it, obviously, California. And as always, no offense to anybody who lives there on the good parts of it and on the good side of it. But California is going to be a lot of sanctuary cities, okay? And I'm standing in one, maybe not a big time one, but it's got that lean to it. It's a blue city. I'm the minority here, which, I'm not speaking on anything as far as that goes outside of the political nature of it. But you got to figure your big cities, Chicago, Detroit. People from Texas, tell me about Texas. What are your sanctuary cities? Anywhere where there's a big city, it's going to have that lean. It's got to be something to be looked at. And it's a little scary, man. Like, if they're going to come here, like, I'm 20 miles away from New York City, which you see who runs that big friggin' dummy. He's just like baby Huey de Blasio. He's going to welcome him with open arms. So I got that coming here. If that goes down, it's coming here. But you know what? I'll take it. I can avoid that. This is going to affect me. I don't worry about that stuff. And I don't know, I guess it applies to everybody differently, like where you are and what to expect from something like that. It's not all going to be peaches and cream. It's not, we're all going to sit back and laugh at it online. It's easy to sit there and joke about it and say things like the vote and the popular vote and let them vote and the benefits and all that when you're just talking about it online. But when there's 25 of them walking across your front lawn, I guess that puts a completely different perspective on things. So tell me how you feel about that. Like, my side of it, look, I just take shit as it comes. And if they come here and they put 1 million of them here, I'm still going to be standing out here in the street talking on my phone like an idiot on Friday nights. I'm still going to type the things I type. I mean, that's not going to hurt me, probably. And if it does, it does. I mean, what are you going to do? That's just life, and you live life. But let me know how you think that could affect you. Going along with the question that Chris had asked, the list of the sanctuary cities. If you think you're in a sanctuary, I can't even say it, sanctuary city, tell me what you think or how you think it might affect you personally and what's going to happen as far as that goes. So off of that, going along, Terry, they call them immigrants. Yeah, I don't know. They're illegal aliens. They've always been illegal aliens. I'm not good with change, so I'm going to keep them that way. Chris Amora, I'm in El Paso. So that's a sanctuary city? Is El Paso a sanctuary city? Let me know. Mary Gunny, Grand Rapids here. A little late, was held captive by the manicurist. Yeah. That's all right. We still got plenty of time. How are we doing anyway? I can't tell time when I'm here. Oh, we're almost halfway already. Yeesh, I didn't even get started yet. It's so funny, too, like I said at the beginning, and I've said this like a dozen times already. I start talking, and like I come into this and like I don't have anything to talk about. And then I'll go for an hour feeling like I just talked about not having anything to talk about for an hour. But it works. But the time just is weird, man. Like, I feel like I've been talking for 3 minutes and we're like a half hour into it. But I started late, too. I always start late, don't I? So what else we got? Emma Chiara Yagi. Yagi or Joggy? I didn't see if you corrected me on that. Pelosi loves her southern neighbors, especially if they are her house guests. Oh, how could you not love that? She's going to be like looking out the window, like picking up the curtain and going, there's 1,500 brown people on the front lawn. Call the police. She's not going to know what to do. Somebody's got to be there and get that on camera when they show up on her house, like ringing the bell. Hello, can we use your bathroom? Mira, we got to come in. We need to use the bathroom. There's 1,500 of us. They didn't give us no bathroom breaks on the bus ride. Can we use your baño? I can't wait. She's gonna have a stroke. We're just having happy dreams here. That's not gonna happen. Maybe Christmas. I got like my next 27 Christmases involved in things I hope had like God. If you're there and you're listening, and you're probably not, because like why would you listen to me? But make this happen. That'd be so awesome. So we'll see what happens with that. What else? Brian Banu, AOC, Omar, and Pelosi were all in a canoe that caught fire in crocodile-infested waters. What beer would you drink while watching? Dude, they don't build a canoe big enough for everybody I want to see in it. Like, for that, we could put the friggin' Titanic and let that sink, hit an iceberg, and I'll chip some ice off of the iceberg and put it into my scotch. So that's my answer. It's a good fantasy, man. Nice job. Terry's sending me a bunch of hearts. Love you too, sweetie. Tell Jim I said, where's Jim? Is he listening, or is he just like not typing? But get him in here too. Okay, what else? Amy Thompson, beautiful night in Tennessee. Good, and I'm glad you're here with us. Aunt Jones, Twitter. After asking me about Twitter, I don't do Twitter. Like, I've tried it a couple times, and it bores the hell out of me. And if you listen to the way I talk and try and imagine keeping it to like 140 characters or less, it's not something that's likely to happen. Like, Twitter just doesn't work out for me. And I always get started. I've literally started Twitter like maybe a half dozen times on a half a dozen different accounts. And I stay on it for 2 or 3 weeks, and like I get 4 or 5 people following me. I'm like, this is bullshit. I got, the Facebook page with 6,000 people on it, or I could talk to 3 people on Twitter. I really should get that going though, because I think I could do a lot more damage on Twitter and piss off a lot more people on Twitter, and really get into like telling each other go fuck ourselves on Twitter. Well, I'll get kicked off for that, but you know how that goes. So I don't know, man. Again, I got so many things going on already with this and trying to develop other things. But maybe we'll look into Twitter a little at some point. I think Twitter would be, I don't even know if you were asking me that, but that's my end. You just said Twitter with a question mark. Don't do Twitter. I got the Instagram going. And again, it's just one of those things. You don't have the time to get into it and like pump it up and advertise it and stuff. But there is an Instagram account, and it's mostly just like I pop most of the memes up there. And a lot of times, like, you all end up in Facebook prison and stuff, and you can't get me on Facebook, and you can't respond. So I have the Twitter for that, like the lifeboat, like the backup account on Facebook. So I got the Instagram. We'll look into Twitter. If anybody wants to help me out with a Twitter, man, just like not to actually physically do it, but to just give me a little advice on it and like how to get that cooking, because I just don't know. I don't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about this when I started. When I started Planet Common Sense on Facebook, it was a weird thing, and I was doing like, I don't know, some of you have been there from the beginning, but it was doing this thing where like I was just like laying this stuff down on my own private account, and then we started a website, and it didn't work out, and it's all I'm going to go into on that. And then the result of that was like, I got to get this, I got to keep this alive, and I got to keep this going. So I started the Facebook page with no idea what to do. I was like, okay, look, you can do an entertainment website. So I popped that up, and every day I learned something new. And again, obviously I'm doing something right, because y'all are just piling in. The growth's been huge. We're on a real upward swing with everything. Everything's going along nice. But I don't know what I'm doing, and I still don't know what I'm doing. Like, I probably know 10% of what I should know about how to run a Facebook page. You all know the accident that happened with the live show. I was just sitting here staring at my laundry, trying to annoy you one night and see how long I could just not say anything while my laundry flipped before people started getting pissed off. And then I started talking, and then the rest is history. Here we are 11 weeks later. But I just don't know about Twitter. Like, I don't know. I'm not a tech guy. I'm creative. I'm not technical. So if anybody wants to advise me a little on Twitter, and maybe, I don't know, we'll talk during the week. We're getting way, way, way off of the millions of other topics we have available to us tonight. So let's go back to the scroll and see who got what. Mona Eves. I think President Trump is just waiting for the Dems to not want the illegals in their cities. They'll scream and we'll all laugh at them. Gee, we thought you loved them. That's the whole thing about it, and that's exactly what he's doing. And it's like they mock him for it and they laugh at him, but it's not laughing at him. They get mad at him when he does stuff like that. It's not, who knows if it's real or not. But it puts the onus on them. Like, he's just throwing it right back in their faces. It's like, okay, you want all these people here. You're promoting them. You're bagging on us for trying to stop it from happening. Fine, let them in. You can have them. You can feed them. You can give them medical care. You can give them money to live on. They're yours. You wanted them. Here they are. Have them. And it's not just her. It's not just that hag out in California. It's every one of them. They all want to talk about it. They all want that vote, that unending well of potential Democratic voters that flows freely over the border. That's what they want. They don't want to live with them. They don't want them over for dinner. They want them one day a year. That's when they want them. And you know what? Pelosi, as much as they said about her before, she'll set up a fucking polling place in her backyard and serve, cupcakes and lemonade if they come and vote for them. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. So yeah, man, rah, bring them in until it's time to have them in your house. And then they don't want nothing to do with them. One day a year is when they want them. So, and that's what he's doing. He's just busting balls, and that's what I love more than anything about him. As much as he's doing all these cool things and making things happen and helping the economy, creating jobs and everything else, That's what I love the most about the man, is he's a ball buster. I love a ball buster. I want to be like him. So I don't know if I'm getting there or not, whatever. Maybe not in his league, and I'm certainly not, whatever. Going back to the scroll, Mona, good one. Roy Tracy Breen, that's why Democrats are all crying. They're afraid he may testify. Back to Julian, man. They have so many things to be afraid of. So many things to be afraid of at this point. And they don't know what's coming. And that's probably killing them more than anything else. It's just going to be such an interesting next 2 years between now and that election. And angling for, who's trying to stay out of jail and who's going to be. This is like, you look at the Democratic Hunger Games, the primaries, and the candidates. It's like, what do they got? Like 57 candidates now. Like, I think, like, just about everybody's running for president in the Democratic Party. Everybody's running for the nomination. And they're at the point where, like, half of them, you got to look and say, are you going to be the candidate? Or are you going to go to jail? Are you going to? Who's the least indictable? That's our guy or girl. But it's silly. I don't know. How do you even look at it? There's so many different ways it can go. So, good one. Ellen Holzlander, hello and happy Friday night to you. One of my longtime 11-week regulars. I'm hoping he's getting protective custody. You have to think he's going to. I mean, they can't. Julian Assange is not going to 7-Eleven while he's hanging out waiting for whatever they're going to do with him to happen, okay? It's good that he's in custody. And I think it's good. Has anybody, like, I didn't watch the news today. I was having so much fun today because things just kept popping. So I really didn't pay attention to the news. Is he in the United States yet? Or is he not? I was uncomfortable about him being not in the United States. I think that they're going to make this move and they're going to bring him here. And for the reasons that I think they're bringing him here, I think they needed to get him here as quick as possible because he's a hell of a lot safer, as weird as it might sound, in the United States than he is in England. I hope they moved quick on it. If they haven't gotten him here yet, I hope they do get that done quick. And obviously he needs to be in protective custody, okay? Julian Assange isn't going bowling tomorrow night, okay? Julian Assange is not doing his laundry at the Lexington laundromat here in White Plains, New York on Friday night. Julian Assange is sitting in a room, which is cool because he's used to that. He's been sitting in a room for pretty much like 7 or 8 years now. He didn't look good. He didn't, you saw him in the car and he gave the little thumbs up and the smile, which was, was kind of good, but he didn't look great. And I'll tell you what, man, if something happens to that guy between now and when he starts talking, that's going to trigger major events. That's like saying, Julian Assange, if he died of natural causes in the next 3 days, you could trigger a civil war. You could. I hate saying that word. I hate saying that phrase, man, because it's such a horrible, terrible thing to think about. But, man, they got to take care of him. They definitely got to keep an eye on him and certainly not have him out and about and going dancing. Okay, Julian's got got a few more weeks of captivity at least until he's completely debriefed. And what do you do with him after? What do you do with this guy afterwards? If he's what we think he is, and he's going to come here, going out in the rain because I don't think it's raining anymore. If he's going to come here and do some of the things that we're thinking he's going to do and we're hoping he's going to do, and it all goes down and everything's great, and people go to jail. The right people go to jail. The people who should be in jail go to jail over him. Think about the people that are going to end up in jail and what they're capable of and the connections that they have. Julian Assange's life is fundamentally changed by this whole process. And, you got to look at the greater good. You got to think of the benefit to the country over the benefit to the individual. But I don't know that I want to be Julian Assange in the aftermath of this, man. This guy is going to be like Salman Rushdie with the satanic verses, with the jihad against him for the rest of his life. The guy's never going to have a normal life ever again. Not that his life was, well, Pam Anderson, I guess. That's an all right thing if you like skinny blondes. But What does Julian Assange do in the aftermath of what we're thinking? You know, you don't have a normal life again after that. You're done. You're done living a normal life. Can't imagine he goes back to Wikipedia. I don't think they're going to let that happen. And it's a shame if he goes down as a hero like that, and can't bask in it and you know, have the afterglow of being that and have a great life and be an American hero. Go into history books, maybe, whoever's controlling history at that point and what gets put in the history books. But Julian Assange is just not going to have any kind of a normal life ever again, no matter what, which is a sad thing. So everybody just, you know, keep Julian in your prayers, I guess, or if you're a praying type, or your thoughts if you're not. Let's hope it all works out well for him, and he stays above room temperature, and the twat goblin and her hit squads don't find him, and they don't send Debbie Wasserman Schnitz after him to kill him like they did with Seth Rich. And that's all I have to say about that. Back to the scroll. Bob Galgano is watching. Bob Galgano, welcome to PCS Laundry Live. I've probably known you longer than anybody else that is following me. I don't know if that's maybe true or not. I go back to like my teen years with Bob Galgano. He's a drum corps guy too. I don't talk about that much because it's like not a part of my life anymore, but like it was a whole big thing. If you know what drum corps is, I was real heavy involved in that for a long time. I kind of grew up on it, and my dad was into it too. And I don't really do that anymore, but I'll tell you a lot. I made so many good friends from that, and some are still around. But Bob, I've known Bob Galgano for at least 35 years, 38 years. So, Terry, you got beat. I've known Bob longer than you, but you both came from the same genre of the same niche activity. That so, Bob, awesome that you're here. Thanks for checking in, man. Say something. What if my dad's following or not? Like, I've known him obviously longer than any of you. So we're scrolling. Come on, give me something good. Susan Levy or Levy, correct me. Local Fox News this morning said they are reopening the rape case now that he's in custody. Again, I don't know if you can do that or not. It's like, well, he wasn't tried for it, so it wouldn't fall under double jeopardy. But once a case gets closed, again, Jim, if you're out there, pipe in. I hate to keep putting this on you. I don't even know if you're there or not. But any legal minds out there want to jump in? What's the legality? Can they even do that? Because that doesn't seem to me like something they can do. So maybe they can, maybe they can't. Here we go. Friend, of course, Michael. I thought that was what he's being arrested on, but I'm obviously out of date. Yeah, they dropped that. I know they dropped it. It was a couple of years ago they dropped it, and there's got to be some sort of, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on something I don't know about, so I'm going to let that one go. And if anybody else knows, pipe in and say so. Kelly Ryan, that hag Hillary is now blaming Assange for her losing the election. You know what? Awesome. Good call, Hillary, you old miserable crotch. That's exactly right. You're right. He did help. And a lot of people helped. And a lot of people are heroes before it. Donald Trump is a hero for keeping you out of the White House. Julian Assange is a hero for keeping you out of the White House. Fucking that dirtbag, scumbag, lying bastard, Jim Comey, I hope he goes to jail, is a hero on some level for helping to keep you out of the White House. But you want to know who the biggest hero of all is in that scenario? Keeping your cracked old ass out of the White House is you. You yourself kept yourself out of the White House because you suck. You're a miserable person. I'm going again. I do this every week, man. You guys got to not get me started on Hillary Clinton because I just can't stop myself. I want her to, oh my God. How do you not see? You're a woman in your 70s. You've been on the planet a long time. You've seen a lot of things. And I'm never going to say you're dumb. Because you don't get, a criminal mind that's that good and that effective for that long a time is not a dumb person. That's a smart person. the best criminals are smart criminals. So you're not an idiot. By any means, Hillary. Bitch. So how do you not see that you're the whole reason that you're not in the White House? You sucked. And the Democrats running you had to be shaking their heads and saying, how do we get out of this? Please, can't she just die? And we'll throw Joe Biden in there. And you know what? He would have saved the day. Like, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop because I'm just going to, every week I talk about this and somebody's going to start bitching about it. So I'm going to just chill on Hillary for now and go back to relighting this cigarette. Ah, gotcha. Sorry about the fingers. Okay, going back on the scroll. Mark Hutchins. Assange may be under statute of limitations on a lot of his wrong. He made it 7 years. That's what I was thinking. Now, if it's 7 years on that, and I think it was about 7 years that he was there, and somebody checked that, then that's, they're not going to, they can't reopen that. But the other thing, though, is it wasn't American law. It was I think it was Sweden that the charges were against him. So that's, man, it's like, there's a lot to that and a lot of legal stuff that I just don't know. And I don't like talking about things that I don't know about because you end up looking stupid a lot. So we'll let that one go. We'll look into it. We'll get into it during the week back on PCS. Judy Ann, I'm from Cali, but I live in the red state of Arkansas. We have illegals everywhere thanks to Tyson, Simmons, Georges, and Cobb. I don't know what the names are. Or they may be counties. Like I know there's a Cobb County in Georgia. So tell us more about what those four names represent. So we get a little better picture of what are you talking about there. Emma, this is a really cool video thing you're doing. Love this. Thank you so much. I'm having so much fun doing it, and I'm going to expand on it. I definitely am. I got a few ideas, and I keep saying that too. It's just hard to jump in and expand on stuff sometimes and add new things. Again, time's always a limit. But thank you for saying that. It really makes me feel good about it. And if it was 10 people, I'd still be doing it because I'm just having fun doing this. Like I like to talk. If you can't tell that by now. And it's just been like a whole new way of just getting this stuff out there. There's another thing I wanted to ask you all too. And I was thinking, man, I'd do this as a Sunday brunch, but I don't want to monopolize that with my own personal shit. Because that's a fun thing and it's a different thing than this. So my question for you is this. You can answer in the comments. We can get into it tomorrow when I address the comments. Or we can, if you think it's better to put it up like a question online. I'm babbling. Let me ask the damn question already. Since we started doing this, and it's been 11 weeks now. Now, a lot of you have been around a long time, and you've been reading my stuff since back in October 2017. It's been just a year and a half now. And I was wondering if the fact that you hear me now, and you hear what my voice sounds like, does it change the way you read the things I write on Planet Common Sense? It doesn't sound like as good of a question as I thought it was going to sound like, but it's in my head. It's a good question. So just pretend it's a good question. And let me know, do you look at things different? Do you kind of read what I say differently now that you know what I sound like and my little nuances to my voice and my speed talking and all that stuff? So hit me back about that. Let me know what you think as far as that goes. And maybe I'll put it up on PCS anyway and just say, Amy Thomason, the Pelosi impersonation was terrifyingly real. She's horrible, man. That's just my generic crotchety old lady voice, but I don't know. I don't watch TV. I read all the information I get and everything I react to is probably 80% reading online, not watching. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the videos. I'll watch clips and I'll watch the pertinent things from things I hear about, if there's things I need to know. So I don't even really know what Nancy Pelosi sounds like. This, just stumbling all over herself and stuff like that, and vapor locking on words, which is always a treat when she starts with that. Oh, the president of Eisenhower, Trump, yeah, Trump, like that little. I don't know if that's how she sounds, but that's the cadence to it. Which whatever. But thanks for saying that. That was funny. Emma, Twitter sucks. Emma, you're jumping in a lot tonight. I love it. Thank you. Twitter sucks. I was kicked off of Twitter within hours for following too many conservatives. Man, I get kicked off of so many sites, because I go and bust people's ball. And people, all the time are telling me, I'll post something about, today, about the circus monkey. Post that on our webpage. But yeah, I mean, that's all cool in theory, but then it gets me kicked off. Like, it gets me banned from the webpage, or it gets me banned from a Twitter account. So I put it out there. You guys go put it on their pages, you know, because if I go do it, they're just going to kick me off, and then I can't do it again. So we're going back to that anyway. So when I put that stuff out, you guys take it and do whatever you want with it, and share it, and tell them where you got it. Chris Amora. My wife and I are Hispanic, although she has light skin and green eyes. And you just jumped for some reason. What the heck? Chris Amora, I just totally lost your comment. Okay, no, wait. Where are you? All right, I'll come back to you. If I don't catch it tonight, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I'm actually extremely curious of what you were about to say, but I completely lost it. I completely lost the comment with the scrolling. Amy Thompson, Democrats want immigrants to cook dinner and clean up afterwards, which is what they do now. What do you got to change everything for? And how many of them do you need, for crying out loud? We got 20 million of them here already. How many do you need to cook your dinner or clean your bathroom? Now, you know, if that's what they want, I don't know. Connie Baskin, York Walls. My only fear with the sanctuary city dump is that those cities would release them on the rest of us. But how are you going to see? Here's the thing, and I just briefly hit that during the day. They're going to go where free is. They're going to go where free food is, and free medical care is, and free education is. They're not going to go where you don't want them, like, and when you're not going to give them shit. They're not going to necessarily go to like lower populated areas where like the resources aren't there to take care of them. They're gonna. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, because I don't know. Who knows if I'm right or wrong? I mean, what do I know? I'm an idiot talking into his phone and typing into his computer. But I tend to think they're going to stay in the cities. I don't think they're going to stray. Well, you know what the other problem with that is? It's just the sheer bulk of it. And if you're going to bring 20 million more people, but they're not. They can't do that. I mean, they just can't do it. We're talking about like folly here. But it's man, how's it going to? And that's things people don't think about. They're looking at their bottom line, which is the boats, but they don't give a shit about, you know, the extracurricular things that go on from doing something like that. You completely change the face of things, of society, and of your resources and of your economy by dumping 20 million people. So somebody said a long time ago, like, and I think I talked about this on the original PCS blog on WordPress, where they do the census, okay? And the census typically tells you that there's between 15 and 20 million illegal aliens in the United States, which is bullshit. Okay, there hasn't been only 15 to 20 million illegal aliens in the United States since the 80s, maybe, or the 70s. It's like 40 or 50 million easily. And you laugh when you talk about the census, because, man, you know, they're not baking a cake when the census guy comes knocking to say, oh, amigo, you know, come on in, count us, have some, whatever. They're hiding in the basement. They're turning the lights off and pulling drapes down. So you're giving me these census numbers. You're ridiculous. I'm laughing when I see that stuff. And this is, like I said, like 10 years ago and 20 years ago when they did the censuses before. And the problem with that, and you're setting aside the humor in it, is that when you are saying there are 15 million people, and you're accounting for 15 million people when you do your budgets, and when you work on your infrastructure, and when you work on your whole national support system, how to take care of them, and how to feed them, and how to give them medical care, and you're lying about the numbers, that fucks things up. How could it not? If you're saying 15 million, and you're accounting for 15 million, but there's really 50 million, what a mess. It doesn't work. Well, we'll see. What are we going to do? I mean, they're there. We can't. It's a mess down there. I mean, there are people denying that there's a problem down there, like just for political reasons, when obviously there is a problem down there. If you're on the front lines, like, Betty Hernandez, I don't know if you're in here or not. I know you're in softball season now, so you're probably not here. But anybody who lives like along the border, take some pictures and post them. Like, let us know what's going on. What's on the front lines down there? Because people are saying it's not happening, and it's bullshit that it's not happening. It's happening. It's got to be. So, Sharon Cromwell, Assange will die in custody before the deep state allows him to testify. That's a horrible thing to say. As correct as it may be, I mean, that's certainly a possibility. You've got to hope it doesn't. But the one thing you take away from that, if it does, is it just gives up the game. Like, if that happens, you know why, and you know who. Okay, he's not just going to, like, drop dead. He's not going to have a heart attack in custody. He's going to be killed if he dies in custody. And then you're going to know who did it, and you're going to know why they did it. And that gives up the game, and I think that might be the thing that keeps that from happening. It's so obvious that if he dies in custody. It's so obvious. Why? And who? So, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I certainly think it's possible, but I think that's unlikely. I think there's too much invested into this guy, and there's too much unknown about what this guy has and what he can say and who he can crush. And I don't know. I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. But, we'll keep our fingers crossed for it. So, Chris Zamora, well, this is not the comment that I had originally started jumping on, but I'm going to get to that. I'm not going to see it tonight because we're getting close to the end. But this is another one. It will affect us quickly. Food will run out. Crime will increase. Of course it will. Of course it will. And they don't care. It's votes. It's just votes. That's all it is. They're not looking at the repercussion of it. They're not looking at the tangible physical changes it's going to make to society. You can't do that. You just can't change the population to that. I don't know. It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. One last scroll. It's just starting to rain, so I think we snuck the hour in. What do we got? Put him, Aurora, Tracy Bizik. Put him in the Lincoln bedroom with the White House. He'll be safe. I always remember the movie Armageddon when Michael Duncan Clark said he wanted to stay in the Lincoln bedroom. That's what that always reminds me of. That was kind of silly. Amy Thompson, look what the UK authorities did to Tommy Robinson when they had him in custody. Assange needs to get to America quick. He does. That's a great point, and you're right in line with what I was saying. It's not a good thing. There's a truck coming by, so just everybody chill for a minute. We did okay with the win. Yeah, that was just atrocious what they did to Tommy Robinson. And, you still haven't really heard him. He's out and all, but you're still not hearing from him. They're really keeping him pressed down. And Tommy Robinson had a lot to say about a lot of things that he should be heard and he should be allowed to say. And they completely stopped that. So I think Assange is way, way better off being in the United States, even with all the threats that you're obviously dealing with that. Yeah, good call. They got to get him into the States. Anybody check and see? Again, I'll check on it later, and we'll talk about it in the comments tomorrow to see if he is in fact in the States or when he is going to be here. Last one, Donna Levesque. It already has. If not for WikiLeaks, we'd have never known Hillary smells like cabbage and old farts. And who doesn't need to know that? That's one of the most poignant things. I've gotten more jokes out of that than I have about half everything else. How you doing? Hello. Hi. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, boiled cabbage and piss. That's not presidential at all. So, I'm wandering back to the laundromat now. We're going to wrap this up. And I didn't do this at the beginning, and I was remiss because I've never missed doing it before. A deep felt thank you to all of your support of Planet Common Sense on Facebook and PCS Laundry Live on Friday nights. We can't do it without you. You're the I don't know what you are, but I love you. Again, I don't get to all the comments. They come fast and furious, and not all of them come up. So if I didn't mention you and I didn't say hi and I didn't get to your comment, I apologize. I will get to them tomorrow when I do a review on the comments, and I'll say hi to everybody and address the questions appropriately. Week 11 coming to a close. Week 11, right? Yeah, I didn't put it on. I didn't put it on YouTube last week, but nobody's really watching it on YouTube anyway. Got to get that channel going, but I'll catch up with that, and we'll get all the comments tomorrow. Thank you all for being here tonight. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I'm going to get my clothes and some food and go home and just chill and start the weekend off. I am out.